Narcissists want you to think that they are all powerful. They have all the answers and all of the control. And I'm here to tell you that they just simply don't. Narcissists are scared and self-loathing people. So in this video, I want to break it down and show you how there isn't much power or control in a narcissist. I think it's hard for a lot of people to think of highly narcissistic, really toxic people as people who are scared. It's not always something that they're showing all of the time. So let's talk about why narcissists are people who are just ruled by fear and making really rash, fear-based decisions. First of all, a narcissist is a very self-loathing person. I always relate it to the high school bully or the bully that we all knew growing up. We all had that kid in the group or on the street that we couldn't stand. They had to push everyone around. They had to be in charge. They were always talking shit about somebody else. And it was really, really annoying, but we all knew somebody like that. Threatening people, getting people to do things for them, and so on. People like that are often the most insecure people. No one who behaves like a bully who needs to abuse and use others for their own ego and such, is really secure about themselves. Secure people are able to work things out on their own, work things out with others in a positive way, and be helpful and uplifting to other people. When someone has to try to brainwash minions, think about that. How powerful are you really when that is what you have to resort to? Next, narcissists are in need of all the control in every single relationship they have, not just romantic relationships. People who desperately need control in every aspect of their life often feel like so many things are out of control. So they'll do everything they can to make sure that everyone around them acts accordingly. They control everything. They know what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. So when a person needs a lot of control, that's a sign of fear. I'm afraid what might happen. I have to control this. I have to know the past, the present, and the future. I can't let any slip-ups happen. I'm afraid of the unknown. I'm afraid of so many things. So therefore, I will control everything. In the case of a narcissist, it would be something like, I fear my partner will find somebody better than me, so I will limit their access to social media, for example. I won't let them go out without me, or if they do go out, I'm going to text them the whole time, and I'll make it so uncomfortable and unbearable for my partner that they'll just stay home with me all the time and they'll never want to leave. Is that powerful? It doesn't really sound powerful to me. It sounds full of envy, jealousy, and insecurities. A sign of somebody who is on top of things and has a really good, healthy, well-adjusted sense of self just simply doesn't behave that way. These things and others I'm not going to ramble on about are a few factors that go to show that these people need to manipulate to have power. And when that can't happen, well, you know how a narcissist behaves when they can't control someone. They panic, they flip the fuck out, and in a lot of cases, they will just quickly move on and find somebody else who will be afraid of them, who they can get hooked on them. So when it comes to you, what is a narcissist really scared of? My little list here is in no kind of order, if that makes you feel any better. Firstly, exposure. Exposure is a huge fear for a narcissist. A narcissist might have a small amount of fear from the get-go, but when the relationship progresses and you move into the devaluing phase, of the relationship, even after the discard and hoover, there comes a time when the narcissist knows that you know who they really are, what they're all about, and this causes them a great amount of stress. And as a result of this, what do they do to try to make sure that you don't expose them? They do things like they run the smear campaign. They try and reach out to everybody before you can get there, and they let everyone know that you're crazy, you can't be trusted, you have the issues. That way, if you try to tell the truth about what happened, you are immediately discredited. Exposure can be devastating for a narcissist, something that you could do at any time, and that can make them extremely afraid of you. If you'd like to talk one-on-one with a survivor, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to get information on private phone chats with me. Next up is abandonment. Now, I'm not going to sit here and get into abandonment and attachment disorders and things like that. What I can tell you is a lot of people who are highly toxic, highly narcissistic, and have a lot of these cluster B personalities, they have issues with people leaving them. And it's kind of sad because this is more likely a fear that struck them when they were very little. It was probably very scary for them to go through, but now we see it being carried over into adulthood, and it's still sad. The problem is these people are so toxic and they have all these really high levels of, narcissistic or, other tendencies. They drive people away while fearing being abandoned. It's one of those things about narcissistic people that are very contradictory and kind of hard to explain. And I won't dive into all of that, not in this video anyway. This is obviously something they fear and something that you are very capable of doing, again, knowingly or unknowingly. Hell, maybe you've even done it. I refer back to the example I gave about the narcissist trying to control their partner, and these are because of abandonment issues. When a narcissist senses that somebody might leave, they can do things like lash out violently, become even more controlling, cry, beg, yell, scream. Sometimes they ghost out and immediately discard the source if they catch wind of someone trying to leave them. And this is why a narcissist has a harem with lots of other different people to choose from most of the time, because you could be gone at the drop of a hat and your replacement needs to be right around the corner. The third thing of many that I'm sure I won't get into everything on this list, but the third thing that narcissists just simply dread is the ego bruise. And that's very scary for them because narcissists have such tiny, sad egos, no self-esteem. It goes back to what I say about them being so self-loathing. They truly don't think very highly of themselves, even though in a lot of cases they do seem to have that superiority complex. All it is hiding all of the inferiority that's really going on underneath. Narcissists need you to boost their self-esteem. They need others to boost their self-esteem and build them up. And again, what happens when you knowingly or unknowingly take a hit at that self-esteem? I'm sure you've probably seen it firsthand, survivor, that it can rock and shake a narcissist to their very core. And sometimes we can inflict such an ego bruise or narc injury, as it's called quite often. A lot of times narcs will do things like ghost or give an extended silent treatment, discard us, because not really so much that it causes a lot of fear, but it lowers that self-esteem. Sometimes, insecurities become exposed, and it's just something that they would all around really, really like to skip. They don't want that ego bruise at all. So I get asked a lot, why isn't the narcissist hoovering me? I know it's weird because we're talking about them being scared, but a lot of times if you feel like you should be hoovered, or a lot of people are wanting that hoover and things like that, sometimes you're not getting a hoover, or you're not getting a response, or you're not getting something that you think they should be doing because maybe you know their track pattern. A lot of that is also ruled by fear. They might want to reach out to you. They might want to hoover you, but you have threatened to expose them, or maybe you did. Maybe you left them and walked out of the relationship and they feel hurt by that or something else. Maybe you hit the ego. Some narcissists will not continue to keep coming back for more punishment, quote unquote, more ego bruises, more questions they don't have good answers for. They're just too scared to do it. I've hurt a narcissist 1 or 2 times in my life that I know about. And I know firsthand when you deliver a crushing blow, they don't return. To be fair, I don't know if they were like 100% a full-blown diagnosable narcissist, but I know an asshole when I see one that had extremely toxic behavior patterns, and a narc injury can truly piss them off and scare them off. So sometimes it might not even be fear as to why they're not returning. They're just angry. They know there's no good reason for them to come back and try to speak to you again. So when they fear you, fear rejection, exposure, hurt, they're not going to keep coming back for more. They see you as a dead-end street and they have to move forward. I won't be talking about rejection. That's a whole other, thing they fear. Toss it on the list. It's totally there, along with abandonment. There's no real reason to add them on the list. It's kind of, similar. Another big time fear is loss of control. I've already talked about how important control is for a narcissist. So you'll see the fear and the panic when they lose control. You might see them yell and scream. blow up your phone, your social media. Maybe they get physical with you, throw a tantrum and cry, otherwise act like a child, whine, have a fit. Every time a narcissist is scared, you will see them lash out in some way, shape, or form. Even if that lash out is silence, they back off and go away. Coverts and overts can and often do act out in different ways. Like I say, the overt is more likely to be physical, to yell, scream, throw things. The covert will kind of do this inward thing. Those are the ones who are more likely to ghost out, give you an extended silent treatment, cry, whine, beg, become the victim. All those things, I hope you will see, make them not that powerful looking at all. No one blowing up my phone, begging me to talk to them is powerful. No one who needs to put hands on you is mentally powerful. No one who acts like a little boy or little girl is powerful. You see the power struggle if you pay close enough attention to what they do. You can see that power shift, and they struggle and they panic and begin to get out of control. Being forgotten is another big fear of a narcissist. Trust me, the list really does go on. And like I say, hopefully by now you get the idea that the things they are afraid of are just absolutely endless. They need all this control. They need ego boosting and everyone working for them. These behaviors are not done by people who are powerful. They are done by people who are manipulative and very, very good at it. But when I notice a manipulative person, I don't see that as power. Yes, you can manipulate me if I am maybe naive and don't understand what's happening, but I don't consider being tricked making somebody else powerful. It's not too terribly hard to trick somebody when you're in a romantic relationship or a friendship, or it's a member of your family or something like that. It's not hard to trick somebody who really cares about you. This is all stuff that's being done by people who are really, really terrified of probably their own shadow at this point. That superior attitude is, again, that false complex, hiding all that inferiority underneath. Like I said, I skipped a bunch, so tell me down in the comments what you know narcissists are afraid of, and tell me if you have the power and control, or do you think it's actually somebody narcissistic? I promise you it's not, by the way. It's you. Please support the channel and help me grow and reach other survivors by pressing that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support me and share videos and all that stuff. Please also throw a like on the video for more support. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.